All right, folks, welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina. Raptors getting set to do the back-to-back thing, taking on the Charlotte Bobcats. And Eric, Charlotte's a team that's been sitting here waiting, and we've seen that before, where teams have been sitting waiting for the Raptors. They come in on a back-to-back, and it hasn't ended well. In a couple instances, they've been okay, but generally that's not a recipe for success. Hopefully Toronto can change that tonight.
Yeah, I know you've talked a lot about in our broadcast the fact that not only the back-to-backs, but that the Raptors have been a pretty decent, for the most part, a pretty decent road team over the last couple of years, and it's been at home where they've had their issues. Well, so far, they're taking care of business. Outside of the Orlando Magic, they're taking care of business.
They're 5-0 at home.
Yeah. Take away those 2 games against the Magic, so they've got to start trying to get a couple of these on the road, and this is one of those games. I think the Bobcats, going back to last year, have improved. I think they're a better team than obviously just even a season and a half ago, but I still look at this one on paper and say, this is a game that you've got to get. I know it's in their building. I know it's a back-to-back. You've got to get this one, because I look ahead to the schedule as well, Jonesy, and I know you're supposed to go game by game, but Boston Friday, Phoenix on Sunday, then another tough week next week with another back-to-back, back on the road again. So I'd like to see the Raptors get to 500 going into Friday's game.
Yeah, it would be great. And, you know, Charlotte's a team that might be ripe for the picking right now, Eric, when you talk about that. They're not playing well, one of the lowest scoring teams in the league, although their offense has received a boost lately by getting Steven Jackson in the trade, but still a little bit banged up. Apparently Larry Brown has shortened the playbook down to just a handful of plays to help the new guys that have come in, and I think this is a team that Toronto might be able to take advantage of. The one thing that Toronto needs to be aware of, though, is Tyson Chandler may be back in the lineup tonight. He's a guy that has given Chris Bosh some issues at times. Now, let's see how Bosh reacts. They didn't need him last night. He played hard, still came out with a double-double, so maybe he can pick it up tonight and you know, show a little bit better against the guy who has traditionally played him well.
And from a Raptors perspective, no game day shoot-around today, as is usually the case on a back-to-back, so there's no updates in terms of the banged-up bodies. Reggie Evans will not play, but he is on the trip.
He's on the trip in a walking boot, and Eric and I walked into the hotel this morning about...
I'm dying right now.
about 2:30. Walked in with Antoine Wright, and I looked at him, I said, how you feel? And he said, a little bit tender right now. So we'll see how it goes. He did say, though, it would be better, because he did sit out 3 games, it would be better to sit out a few games, get his ankle healthy so he can get back into the grind and be able to contribute regularly. We'll have to see if he goes tonight.
And I would assume that Amir Johnson is good to go. Marco Bellinelli as well. Bellinelli was used somewhat sparingly last night, but the groin seemed to hold up. Johnson, though, did go down to the floor a couple of times, one time noticeably grabbing at that knee. So those guys, I would assume, would be, you know, game time decisions for tonight, and we'd be speculating to say whether they're going to play, not going to play, but we haven't heard otherwise to this point in terms of them not going. So we'll update you before the game. And just before we go here, you mentioned Steven Jackson. And as the remote control falls off my side table here, if you happen to hear that. You mentioned Steven Jackson and the Charlotte Bobcats, obviously playing here in Charlotte now. What about his old team? Just quickly.
Wow.
Last night, the Golden State Warriors, ravaged by injuries. They play only 6 guys. 3 of the 6, including Vladimir Radmanovic, play the full 48 minutes, and they get the win over Dallas. That is old school.
That is old school, and it's incredible to see a team in this day and age go that way. I mean, it's like in baseball, what do you compare it to? The guy going, you know, how many complete games are there by pitchers? Everybody's always, well, we don't want to push. That was terrific.
Other than Roy Halladay.
Yeah, other than
but you don't have to worry about that in Toronto for very
long. Not
long.
anymore. Maybe you have to worry about it in Boston, but it was really something to see. And they didn't just beat a chopped liver team; they beat the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. So give the Golden State Warriors credit. Give Keith Smart some credit, and you wonder what's going to happen there with the whole Don Nelson situation now that Steven Jackson's gone. Somehow it just never seems to end that well for Nelly when he's in a situation like that. Only hope the team comes out of it on the right side.
All right, we'll wrap this up right now. Lunch, and then tomorrow probably vlogging again on Thanksgiving Day in the U.S. We'll be sitting in the room, or I think we're going to have a little party in somebody's room.
You'll have the TV behind us.
Watch the football.
A few chips, bags of chips lying around. Anyway, we'll see you then, folks.